just seeing, the longevity of life and knowing that I'm already beyond halfway there, and I want this journey to mean something, and I want to accomplish things that I thought I would have already accomplished by now. Uh, but I'm not going to let it stop me because I'm a little creakier and older and slower, but I believe that with willpower and with the right work and the right support, that we can get this 100-mile uh, journey.
Running 100 miles seems impossible, and maybe even kind of crazy. And it is, but we believe in big crazy dreams. That's why we ran 100 miles. It was such a life-changing experience for us, we decided to devote this podcast to preparing and inspiring you to run your first ultra race.
Are you ready to feel the highest highs and the lowest lows? Are you ready to do what you once thought was impossible? Are you ready for your trail to 100? Thank you for joining us here on Trail to 100, the podcast made to help you finish your first 100-mile race. My name is Jacob Bateman, and joined along with me today was Marlon Kinsey. And this is day 2 of Steps to a 100-mile race. Now, Marlon has been a lifelong runner, but he has the goal to run 100 miles. Hasn't got there yet, but he is on his way. Marlon had some great thoughts about the overall positive impact of running as he's been doing it his whole life. And he even shared his story about how he's had a few health scares come up, but how he's not letting that stop him from his goal and that he will achieve that 100-mile mark one day. Marlon has ran the marathon distance and has gone a little further than that out on the trails. And so today he shared his experience about what it was like to achieve those distances for the first time, and how running can bring peace, friendship, and faith into your life. So a big thank you to Marlon for hopping on the podcast. Marlon, I know you'll get that to that 100-mile mark one day. Keep it up. You're doing great. So let's get to it. Marlon Kinsey. Well, Marlon, welcome to the Trail to 100 podcast. I am so excited to talk with you. I think we connected a year or so ago. You sent us an email, and now we get to actually connect virtually here for the podcast. So thanks for choosing to come on today.
I certainly appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, excited to have you. So, Marlon, I just barely met you. We've had email correspondence, but give a little background about who you are as a person to our audience.
Well, I'm Marlon Kinsey, and I'm from Dry Ridge, Kentucky, born and raised in the area, just across the river in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the Christ Hospital. And ever since I crossed the river, I've pretty much been here in Dry Ridge all my life. I'm now 57 years old. I'm married to a wonderful woman, Lisa. I have 3 children. I've got my oldest daughter, Savannah. She's 30. Annalise is 27, and my son, Sam, is 23, and I have 3 grandchildren.
Wow.
I've got Henry, who is 8 going on 9. Walker, who just turned 5 today. We celebrated his birthday this evening. I'm so excited to have that time with him.
Happy birthday, Walker.
Yeah. And his sister, our granddaughter, Chevelle, who's 2 going on 3. And they are just the joy of my life. I'm raised in a Christian family. I'm definitely born again and a believer. And the group that I run with, we are a Christian men's running group. We call ourselves Ridge Runners.
Awesome.
We recently created a nonprofit called Ridge Runners Racing that we're hoping to use to share our love of Christ through our love of running.
I love that, Marlon. That's we didn't start off with Trail to 100 with I guess helping to build other people's faith in Christ as one of our missions, but it has turned into that as one of our goals with this podcast, as both Melody and I agreed that if we can't bring Christ into our lives in all aspects, then what's the point of it all? And so I love what you're doing. And so you guys are putting on a race. And real quick, before we get into your running adventures yourself, to give us a little background about this inaugural race that you're putting on.
Well, our group, like I said, decided that just getting together on, weekends, long run, and some weekly runs wasn't enough. We wanted to give back to our community, and we decided that we wanted to do something more, and we just had a desire to bring ultra running to our area. But we've created a nonprofit and a race that we're going to be hosting in October. It's going to be on a Friday evening, October 17th. In a neighboring county, Gallatin County, Kentucky, a quaint little town called Glencoe. We wanted to do a backyard, but the backyard with that 4.167 distance and the rules made it almost impossible for us to do that. I actually did reach out and spoke with Gary Cantrell, or as everybody knows him, Lazarus Lake, and he responded back to me and said, "No, your all's plan doesn't really fit what I have in mind." So we've come up with what we now call a mini Barnyard Ultra. It's a 2.083 on the half hour. So it's half the distance, half the time. We're curious to find out what it's going to be like and how tough it's going to end up being with the less time to recover. You have to get out there on your feet a lot quicker. And, it's, you're still running in a 24-hour period, 100 miles, though, if you could go, 24 hours. So we're kicking that off. We also have a 5K to get people on the site that evening, and a kids fun run that'll hopefully bring people
families
to
out
the area, and then they'll stick around and watch these ultra runners. We have it's called the Little Rooster Run, and that's actually named after the Gallatin County. The name Gallatin is a French origin. It means little rooster. So we took the name from the location, and with it being a barnyard, it's very fitting that we have that. But it's going to be a really nice, completely trail. It does have some pathway that you come off on and you can get on if you wanted to, but it's also goes around fishing ponds. But most of it's under tree canopy, through nature. Beautiful course, and we're hoping that will attract people to this really beautiful little town. And we're hoping that from this we'll grow. And we've already got ideas for our next events, and we haven't even had this one yet. But we're motivated.
That's awesome. Stay with it, man. I know that if you guys stay with it, that you'll build something special there. So
we just we try to pray about it every day. One of the guys that I'm the race director and the CEO of our company, and my assistant race director and PR director is a former athlete, and he's a pastor of a local church. And he actually did that service today. It was neat to see that connection between me and a young man who lost his grandmother, who ran for me, who's 10 years younger than me, and then another 10 years behind him is the pastor who did the service today. So it's a neat thing to see how running has brought us all, even though we're from different time periods, brought us all together at this point in our lives to do something together. And I'm just pleased and blessed that we're able to do that. And again, of course, having a wife and family that supports me. And I think I've said something in my response to you is that a lot of people, my wife always says a lot of people have a running phase, but she says I have a running craze. And so I love it. I enjoy it so much.
You can't stop. So that takes us to your running story, Marlon. Where did this idea of trying to pursue ultra running and the 100-mile distance eventually come from?
Well, I've been a lifelong runner. Grew up, like I said, I had an older brother. I've got a twin brother. And we started running competitively in 7th grade in middle school. Our coach was a middle school teacher, and he recruited us. We were baseball, basketball, and that's really all there was in our community. We didn't have football. We didn't have soccer. We'd have been in that too, probably, if we had it. But he said, "You guys, are athletic. You guys should come out and try this sport." And I think you'll do really well. Well, we just got hooked on it. Started in track in 7th grade, and in the 8th grade year, we were running varsity cross country, and we were qualifying to the state and making some of the high school kids mad because we were running first and second spots on the team in middle school. Started there and just kept running. Went all the way through high school. Had very successful career. It was nice to have that twin brother to compete with. We were battling each other. He was typically a little bit stronger in cross country, and I was the stronger track athlete. I did both running and field events, and but I always chased him down. And I beat him a few times in cross country, and then beat him in a couple big meets. He didn't like that, but it was a lot of fun. And then we were recruited to possibly walk on at University of Kentucky, and we thought we were on that path. And then the coach at the time, Don Weber, called us in. We were going to split a scholarship, and he called us and he says, "I need you guys to come in and we need to meet." And went there to find out that he had found a gentleman from England that he wanted to recruit and needed to have that scholarship and wanted us to just walk on without any form of payment. And my dad just didn't like that happening, and he pretty much says, "Guys, I don't really think you all should do this." And he talked us out of it. And sometimes I regret that, but we didn't run collegiately because of that, but we did run competitively. And we did a few road races in the summer in preparation where the UK athletes were in, and we often beat some of those guys. And then Coach Weber, a couple times reached back out to us, but it was too late at that point. We knew that our dad wouldn't approve of us doing that, and we always tried to respect Dad. And he was the one that helped us get to where we were, and Mom as well. So we just kept on running, did road races with my older brother, and then some of the guys that graduated with us. We put together little road running teams, and would go to races and travel. And then after that, it was get into the marathon. The natural progress and go a little longer. You just seem to always naturally progress to the next distance. And so getting to 100 miles is still a ways away for me. I have done, like I said, I've done a 50K unofficial trail. I've done several trail marathons. I've done a marathon every year since 2008. Some years multiple, and continue to pursue, the longer distances. And I think a big reason is, as I've told you in my response that I gave you, was that we, as I get older and you get slower, there seems to be, I guess I feel like I've got to do something different because I don't like being slow. And if I can't be fast anymore, I thought, well, I might as well go longer. And I kind of put this in my brain as, I love running, and running to me equals joy. So it just made sense to me that more running would equal more joy. And so I was hoping that would be the case, but I've run into some issues with my health, and that's slowed me down a little bit. But I'm convinced and determined that I'm going to get there. The plan is to work my way up, get an official 50K in the books. That's going to be my first step. Then do the 50 miler, and then work up to the 100 mile. I don't know if I put 100K in there or not. I might just go 50 to 100. I haven't decided.
Yeah.
Depends on how my body holds up.
Yeah.
But I'm not planning on picking anything incredibly challenging. No mountain courses, anything like that, to get this accomplished the first time. And then if I can get, I've got a couple races in mind. One in Akron, Ohio, which goes on the towpath. A canal. It's going to be quite a bit of flat, and they've got a lot of aid stations, and they also have a really generous cutoff. So I'm thinking that's what I need to do. Being 57 years old, having arthritic knees, having 3 stents in my chest put back this last year, have a blood disorder, been having all kinds of things happening with swelling in my ankles, and just anything and everything that can rear its ugly head. It seems like I have to deal with it, but I just jump back up, and with the support of the family and this group of guys called the Ridge Runners that I run with, we just get back at it. And so I'm going to get there. I'm confident.
So, which honestly, Marlon, that blows me away how confident you are, because you just listed some serious medical issues, that I feel like a lot of people would face and would, give up the 100-mile dream or the ultra dream and just be like, you know what, I don't think my body is cut out for it. So how do you fight off those thoughts of, discouragement? Because it sounds like you've hit a pretty serious setback in the last few years, 3 stents, and a blood issue going on. Like what keeps you motivated to keep going and not just accept that maybe it's not for you?
I think number one, the relationships that I have with the guys, and I was their coach. And if I show weakness, then that's going to creep into their running and their lives. And I don't want to be that example. I want to be the example of the guy who toughed it out and accomplished it against all odds. I want to get out there and and I'm not going to do something to endanger myself. So I did, like I had mentioned to you before, I cut back on the last couple of marathons that I was supposed to run. I still haven't run my marathon for this year for 2025, because I deferred back in Air Force marathon last year to the half. Fortunately, I had already done the Flying Pig, and I had marathon in for the year, because my rule is I do a marathon a year no matter what. I'm going to cross that line and run a marathon every year, because if I don't know that I have the motivation at this age, the way I feel. I have to have a big goal, and so I set those goals. But we've got we went back to Asheville, North Carolina in March, and my plan was to do that marathon because that's my wife's hometown, and that town was just destroyed by the hurricane, and it was just tragic. They lost a whole district that was so important called the River Arts District, and
Yeah.
I wanted to take our guys there to help, just put some money into their economy. So we went there and spent a lot of money eating, getting coffee, and just enjoying ourselves, going to the race, and had a great time. But I had to defer back because I was still having some issues with the stents, that I didn't want to overdo it too soon. I'm thinking long run, literally. So I wanted to give myself time to recover, and so I'll be running. I deferred down from the half at Air Force last year and went ahead and entered the half then, and that changed my marathon for this year. So there is no second year of deferral. So it's marathon or bust there. So I've got September 20th on the calendar, and we're training for that now. And already hit the second week of training. I hit a roadblock with some swelling in my right ankle, and no doctor didn't know what's going on. I do have gout, which my dad, when he was living, had that. And I get that in my left toe, but doc thought it was in the right ankle. But it seems to not be the case, because all the blood tests say it wasn't that. So we're just going to wait and see what it is. But I've run since then. I can run 3 or 4 weeks at a time and have no problems. And I wake up one day with ankle swelling, and I don't know what it is. It doesn't hurt terribly, but I don't want to damage it. So, but that's what I'm working towards. I just got to make sure I can get my body stronger. I know I got to do more strength training, which I love running. I don't love getting in the gym and doing the strength training, but I know how important it is as a coach. I know how important it was for my teams to be successful in the years that we were really good. It's because we had, strong general strength mobility program that we performed, and we got into the weight room and we did things to make ourselves more stable on the uneven ground. And my doctor, that's funny, he said, well, I've tried to avoid uneven surfaces. I said, well, then you would probably say trails are out, huh? And I said, you're talking to the wrong guy. I said, I will be on trails, so we're just going to have to figure out a way to be stronger. And so that's the goal. So my guys that I coach are going to be coaching me in that area, because they know that I don't like it. And
yeah, I love it. I love it. So, Marlon, it sounds like the people around you are a big reason for your motivation and your goals, and it's so true. The people around us affect us so deeply. So it sounds like you got a good crew. I had just one more thing that stood out to me when, I sent you a list of questions to answer before this conversation. And you said something. It was the last line you typed, and you were talking about the 100-mile distance and what it might mean to you. and the fears that you might have with running it. And I'm just going to read kind of your last two sentences here. You said, "I'm certain that going 100 miles will bring me to places I've never experienced to this point. I'm also hoping that I will hear clearly what God has planned for me as I move into the later parts of my life." What do you mean about that last statement?
Well, like my dad, my dad passed away in 2016, and my dad always said that he could always find himself feeling closer to God when he was out on our Angus farm here behind me, where I'm sitting right now. I'm living on our family farm, and he said I can get closer to God walking out here amongst the cattle and the beautiful green grass. And when I get into the trails, I just I feel a sense of closeness to his creation, and it gives me a chance to think and in the quiet, and but also I think that I think I mentioned that I kind of think of the 100 mile journey as kind of a lifetime, a kind of a lifetime length journey, and I want to keep running until I can't, and um, and I had a realization that I'm 57. I've definitely lived beyond half of my lifetime. And so I want to keep, I don't want it to be all downhill. I know it's going to be some ups and downs still along the way, but I want it to, and that's so symbolic, the trail running that I do, because I have run some pretty tough trails, even though they're not in the mountains. We've got a race that I've done called the Rugged Red in the Red River Gorge area in Kentucky, which has about 3 miles worth of up hills in a half marathon trail race, and we trampled through knee water up to our knees following a really heavy rains. It was the course was supposed nearly the course race was nearly canceled, but they talked them into letting us do it because all the runners promised we'd stay right in the middle. We'd go right through the worst of it. We wouldn't get off the side of the trail and tear up the trails. And um, I find that I feel close to God, and as I've gotten older and things in church have changed for me, um, I think my running group, has become one of my closest fellowships and my closest ways to share with other Christian men. All the guys in our group are Christian men, and we hope to bring in others that maybe aren't now, but they will be, and that'll be our way to to witness to them. And but I got to do a better job. Uh, our family has gone through some hardships and illness, and I've made some excuses, and I haven't attended the church like I normally did, which was something I never thought would be me. But all of a sudden, life looks you right in the face, and you say, "I haven't been to church in a month." And now it doesn't mean I haven't been with God. I have been with God, and I've been with the Ridge Runners, my Christian men friends, and we've had worship. I've worshiped today at this celebration of life with this family, and it was a great experience. But I just need to be a better leader, to lead my flock, and make sure that I'm doing what God wants me to do. So I'm hoping that this journey will put me in a place where I'm in such pain that I feel God's presence, and I know all along, and no, I can run 100 miles and it's going to hurt because it's 100 miles, but I'm never going to suffer the pain that Christ suffered for me
Yeah.
when He died for me on the cross. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that our group will be able to use these races that we're going to sponsor to touch people's lives, to help bring fitness into their lives, to make them healthier, but not just physically. Hopefully, that we can have an impact on them emotionally and spiritually, as well as we put on these races. Um, and I purposely wanted to make it a men's running group, and it's no offense. The women are welcome to be in our races that we're putting on men and women, but ours is so our guys can focus on fellowship between each other and not have distraction, because we bring young men into the group, that can be a distraction if you have young ladies right there running alongside. So that was something that I wanted to make sure that I asked the guys, I want to make this a Christian men's group, that we just focus on what we know is our role as leaders in our families and in our community. And I'm hoping that'll help us to accomplish our goals and bring, you know, bring for some people, maybe it's a sense of healing that they need. They just need some friends. And maybe it starts off, I'm just running because I have a group of friends, but then it leads to a chance to share our testimony. And that's already happened with a number of people that we've, communicated with. All the guys in our group have said they've had that kind of experience where somebody's asked, because we wear jerseys, we always have some verse on our jerseys that means something to our group, and people will stop and ask us in the middle of a race. They'll ask us, "Oh, I like that," or "What's that mean?" And it's the door. So God works, and He can work through anything. And but I do pray that I never make running as easily it could become an idol, because I love running so much. I want to make sure that this experience that it's clear that I love God beyond anything else. I've always preached. It's faith first, family, which I call faith and family. I think it just goes together.
Yeah.
Then I taught my kids, and when I coached, it was faith and family, then your school that you were doing, your education. So in this case, work for adults, and then your hobbies after that. So I wanted to keep that priority straight. So I think that's kind of what I had, and there's a whole lot more to it than that. But overall, just seeing the longevity of life and knowing that I'm already beyond halfway there, and I want this journey to mean something, and I want to accomplish things that I thought I would have already accomplished by now, but I'm not going to let it stop me, because maybe I'm a little creakier and older and slower, but I believe that that with willpower and with the right work and the right support, that we can get this 100-mile journey complete.
I love it, Marlon. I love it, and I agree wholeheartedly with you as you talk about your experiences with running in faith. And being a father, a grandfather, and such. I'm flashing back in my mind to relationships I've developed with other men who I've started running with, and how, yes, at first it's just a friendship, kind of trivial things that we're talking about. But as we spend more hours together running out there, the conversations start to get deeper and more meaningful. And we're able to talk to each other about being a father, about being, a husband, about being a follower of Christ, about trying to, live a worthy life and to return to live with our Father in heaven again, And so anyways, I agree wholeheartedly with you, and it's special when you get out in nature with other like-minded people. How it almost feels like you're out there doing what God intended you to do as you're running around one with another, developing relationships and lifting each other up. In the end, that's what we're doing, is lifting one another up. So thank you for doing that, Marlon, and sharing the good word and being a light to those around us. And I'm very glad I got to talk to you today, and I am so excited to see how your 100-mile journey progresses, especially with all the setbacks that you've already faced and your determination to get there. It's inspiring. So you best believe this isn't your last appearance on the Trail to 100 podcast.
I appreciate you saying that. I'm hoping I have some news to share with you. That means I've accomplished something, I hope.
Yeah.
I'll be able to come back and tell you, hey, I did it.
Yes, we want to hear after each step how it goes. So,
I'm
Marlon,
just hoping to drag a few of these guys along with me. Might make it
easier. Heck yeah, I love it. Well, if our listeners want to learn more about your racing, your race coming up, and that sort of things, how can they find it and figure and potentially register or reach out and if they have a question?
Well, we are on the Run Sign Up, and it's I shared the link with you, so if you have that,
I will put it in the show notes.
Put it
Yep.
in the,
So
great.
yep.
But it's it's called the Little Rooster Run, and we have our Ridge Runners Racing has a Facebook that our group uses. I let my assistant director handle all of those social media. We've got an Instagram too, Ridge Runner Racing. I know that I can't even tell you the links, but I'll try to get those to you. But I did get you that. I know it's on the race webpage on Run Sign Up, and it's linked on our Facebook page as well.
Okay. Awesome. And I'll include those links here in our show notes as well, so you can learn more there. Well, Marlon, thanks for coming on. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
Well, I appreciate you, Jacob. I've enjoyed listening to you and Melody as well, so thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you're doing for the trail running community. Doing hard things is important. And that's been really inspiring to me to listen to you guys.
Well, thank you, Marlon. We appreciate
all that you've done, and I'll continue to be a fan.
So a big thank you goes out to Marlon for coming on the pod. Man, that man has been through some things, but I love his attitude about life. It's inspiring to hear that kind of stuff. So anyways, Marlon, thanks again. You're awesome. Keep up the good work. Thank you guys for joining us for day 2 of Steps to a 100-Mile Race. We have some more great guests lined up through the rest of the week, so keep following along as we'll have an episode dropping every day this week of people who are trying to achieve that first 100-mile finish. I know I find it inspiring to hear about others clawing, scrapping, fighting their way. And not giving up despite setbacks that might happen, just like Marlon shared. Remember, guys, if you are looking for help with your 100-mile goal, please reach out to us at trailto100.com/coaching. You can apply for our coaching program. We will schedule a free call. That's right, it's free, to discuss on if we're a good match for each other or not. And hopefully, if all we do is give you a few tips in that call and we part ways there, then it's time well spent, hopefully for you, time well spent for us, and in hopefully helping you out. And we would love to hear how your journey goes, even if you don't utilize our coaching services. But if you do, we promise that we will be there every step of the way to help you out along your journey. So you can apply at trailto100.com/coaching. Throw in your application and let's go get that 100-mile finish together as a team. And remember, if you want to run 100 miles, make it happen.